I'm gonna be real. I kind of really didn't want to talk about Metatron Jeanne, not because I don't like the character, but again, this is like one of those cases where I feel I'm not gonna do the character like actually justice, and make this character seem worse than she actually is. Part of that is just because I ran out of lures on my alt. I almost made it, but I just ran out. I was like stopping one short from being able to try out a lot of different stuff. TLDR, this is not a Black Rail Looper. If that's what you were expecting, sorry, you're gonna need to bring Summer Chloe if you want to do that and have like everything maxed out. Which I wasn't gonna be testing her Summer Chloe damage with Black Rail and everything, but it would have just been nice to have everything like all my cooldowns done. Oh well, gotta make the video. All right, Metatron Jeanne. So first off, she is not drawn by Takeuchi. This is by the Apocrypha artist, which, if you think about it, it was kind of weird because like literally every other character from APOC got drawn by this person, but John, they never in FGO got to draw John, or not from not as a character. I think it might have been as a command. It might have been as like CE. But yeah, this is their first version of John that's actually in the game. And you can see here, this is literally like every single Apocrypha servant, if I'm not mistaken. Atalanta was drawn by someone else, but that's also because I think I'm pretty sure FGO might have came out before Apocrypha. I think they actually came out around the same time, and that's probably the reason. Yeah, timelines, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. Sky attribute, MP charge 0.53%, and she has very good arts cards. These are well above 2%, because 0.53 times 4 is going to get you, 2.12? 2.12. Quick cards, nice too. We don't really care about hit counts for the buster cards, and a 5 hit extra attack. Base attack here is almost 12k too, so like there's literally nothing I can say that is like below average. Her base attack goes up nice and high because positive class modifier for rulers. She actually, I'm pretty sure if I'm not mistaken, has like one of the highest base attacks for rulers, because like you think of rulers and I think of Kishi Wong, and his base attack is like 9.5k at level 90. Like we are so far from that point, and she'll scale like other farmers. HP is tanky, and she definitely can help with the survivability. And Merlin getting buffed only helped this character out, like truly only helped her out. Sorry, I'm taking my time so that my cold does not get in the way with this recording. First skill, True Name 72. I am okay. So again, full disclosure, I've not read this story. I've only played through it. Anything I say about this character is based on my interpretations of fights, not the actual story. So if I'm wrong about some shit, please don't roast me for not reading, because I don't read Japanese. I don't read on JP and don't translate it. I can only speculate what this 72 means. I can only speculate that it has to do with part 1 of FGO. Maybe the person that we saw at the start of Ordeal Call. Don't know for sure, but it's that or something else that has to do with the demon pillars. Okay, so buff removal resistance for 3 turns flat, not times. So good luck trying to take her buffs. If it's a fight between her and Amakusa, she's clapping Amakusa because Amakusa can't take her buffs. Unfortunate. John, who finally got reparations for his atrocities. Debuff immunity 3 times 3 turns. So, um, I don't think buff removal, increased buff removal chance is a thing. But that would be like the only way. Like you'd have to debuff her 3 times, and then you'd have to debuff her with buff removal resistance down, and then you'd have to take the buffs. Is like why so many extra steps that would need to be taken for her to like actually lose her buffs. Dodge 3 attacks, 3 turns. Most of the time, it's 2 attacks, 3 turns, and then this is a 50 battery. I think this is a very stacked defensive skill. Um, you obviously need to have this maxed out for farming. You'll notice here 7 turn cooldown. Does that mean she can't do farming? No, you don't even need a pen 5 for that. Although a pen 5 is just gonna help you out and not require you to have skill 2 maxed out. Um, so it's either you lure skill 2 or you lure a pen 5. Is one or the other. You have to pick. You have to pick. Uh, Lower the skill, lower pen 5. Either one is going to get you the cooldown you need, but obviously the skill needs to be maxed out, and so does your third skill for damage. So, second skill. Stars every turn for 3 turns, and a 15 star bomb. And to add on to that, reduces party cooldown by 1. Do I think this needed an 8-turn cooldown? No, but it was specifically so you would not be actually able to double stack this twice. They set the cooldown that high for a reason. That was more likely the reason. They didn't put damage on the skill either. All of her damage is on this third skill, which makes me hesitate to saying, like, yes, like, she's going to be a super good farmer. I don't think I need to look at her looping damage numbers to like kind of see like where she'd be struggling. Although the fact that she has attack is always a good thing when you're talking about buster farming. Vich and Oberon do not give attack buffs, so having an attack buff that can be double stacked is just really, really good. Better than having a buster buff that is just going to be diminished because Vich gives 50. You have 2 of them, and then Oberon gives another 50 for buster along with his MP damage shit. So yeah. Good that she has it. Would it have been better if she had some kind of MP damage? Yes, she technically does, but not a good amount of it. Last part of the skill, or last 2. 50% crit damage. Again, this gets double stacked. If you crit, it's basically like having 100%. Like, when you crit, you basically have 100% power mod on top of it. They're the same type of shit. And John definitely has power mods. So there's a lot of things that are just going to add into each other in certain parts of the formula and not multiply. That's a little bit of an issue with John, but again, because she doesn't have Buster in her own kit, when she is doing face card Buster crits with Vich, you are going to notice a significant difference, and that's because everything is multiplying together. All right, moving on to passives. Independent Manifestation Angel. Very specific on this too. I've been saying that Independent Manifestation itself is the beast passive. If a character has that passive, they are, without any like kind of modifications, they are like immediately up for the beast category. Merlin says he's Grand Caster, but he's probably also a beast candidate, and he's just not saying it because he doesn't feel like it. That would also explain why Fu is like not killing Merlin. Because he's not a human, and then B, because fuck Merlin. But yeah, Lady Avalon, specifically called Beast of the Planet. So where does this part come in? The fact that it's saying angel means that angels exist in a similar nature to like gods. They exist outside of time, drawn by faith, yada yada yada. Probably what you'd expect from like divinity and fate, but they're specifically saying that angels are metaphysical. Yeah. Again, haven't read this. I'm assuming that this is like, especially also the demon pillars. Solomon created them. They didn't, from what no, he didn't create them. Or hold up, the ones we fight in FGO were Magecraft creations, but original Solomon was said to have met with the demon pillars. Or the So, like sorry, this is going into like demonology, which I'm not super clear on. Um, and especially not mixing demonology with like actual Christian religion. Like I'm definitely not a scholar on that, but my interpretation of it is that both the angels and demons in Christianity, by fate's lore, are supposed to be metaphysical. They don't exist in this realm, and I kind of don't even think the reverse side either. They kind of just exist, and you can draw their power into you. John probably was always hearing Metatron, not Yahweh, or God's true name. Um, yeah, sorry for the tangent shift, but this kind of stuff always interests me, and it makes me want to read the story more. I'm gonna have to wait 2 years, but we have OC1 coming out very soon, and I was able to wait for that. And that had comma. This has John. One servant I have summoned for much more than the other. I have spent far more time summoning for Karma than I have for John, so you can see where my interests kind of lie. Throw Creation EX, 5 stars per turn, 5 gauge per turn. Archangel's Essence, again, why I'm thinking like angels are metaphysical. They don't have like actual bodies. Um, they're creations of God. They take, or again, not religious. I'm not gonna parody Christianity like I have fun doing, but not for this one. So, yeah, no, we're past it. I'm not gonna go too deep into this because I truly don't know the reason for this, but I want it to have to tie back to like we have Dante and the Divine Comedy, so maybe by the time this comes out, I'll actually read the Divine Comedy, um, and see if I get anything more out of it. But I'm just gonna read the effect. Mental debuff resistance 30%. But if you're getting targeted with sleep, John's passing the fuck out. She is a gamer. Is a gamer passive. When a gamer gets debuffed with sleep, we're not waking up for 12 hours. Very accurate Nasu lore passive. All right, append 2 and append 5 are where you're going to see the most value. Especially append 5, you're going to be able to get damage out way quicker when you're buster farming. If you plan on doing any kind of black rail shenanigans, you have to pick this. It's non-negotiable. But you're probably also going to need Summer Chloe, in which case your party cost already jumps to like 98. So just be aware how high your party cost is going. You get three more CEs to fit in with that cost and another servant. So if you plan on doing black rail stuff for bond farming, just be aware all the Vitch, John, and Oberon and Chloe are the characters that are getting the bond points. You are anything else that is in the party is just there to help those characters out. You cannot farm for other characters if you're trying to do like black rail shenanigans. It just like the party cost is just way too high. All right, MP. Power mod for good, 50%. Power mod for evil, 50%. She literally hits more than half the characters in the game. And if a character is both good and evil, like Arjuna Alter, she's hitting them extremely. She gets both of them. These are individual power mods. It's not you have like obviously you can't like if this was only for good evil characters, it'd be terrible because the only character that's like that is Arjuna Alter. But yeah, anti-good, anti-evil. This event diagram where my fingers are touching is where there's overlap. This is just 2 circles. These are 2 circles that do not overlap except for one case. And that one case is also an exception. You can pretty much bring her to fight whatever you want, and she'll do decent damage in comparison to most other characters, especially most other rulers. I actually thought these were 30% before I started this review, and now this makes a lot more sense why it's 50. This is essentially 50% crit damage, 50% MP damage, or 50% crit damage. Sorry if I just repeat myself. But yeah, like against the like there are so few characters that don't fall into this category. It's like Chaotic Bride, Chaotic Insane, Lawful Summer. It's like Summer, Chaotic Bride is the only exceptions for, and Neutral are the only exceptions for characters that are not going to get hit hard by Jeanne. And that's just the base effects. She also heals for the party 2k HP, 10 gauge per turn. Sorry, not per turn. 10 flat gauge to everyone in the party. And then MP damage when she MPs scales from 20 to 40. Would it be nice if it was better scaling? Yep, but they weren't going to do that. So, this is an enable. She works as an enabler for Merlin. A lot of people for the Invincible comp has been using Morgan. And there honestly isn't anything wrong with Morgan. She outputs a whole lot of damage. But for if you're trying to actually stay alive, why would you choose a Berserker for an Invincible comp than a Ruler, right? It's like, why would you choose someone that if you're not careful, they might just die to a straight crit? If something happens to your comp over a Ruler that actually has buff removal, so even the weakness of Castoria, the main weaknesses of Invincible comp, is getting your buff removed. She makes it so you can't take her buffs. So what the fuck are you supposed to do? And she also has the debuff immunity. So if you're a player that doesn't like going for min turns, you just like to like put on a team and watch it like steamroll everything with Invincible comp. Yeah, this Jeanne, Metatron Jeanne, super tanky, works for the comp, heals too, like flat heal, like instant heal, not heal per turn like Merlin does. So, in all honesty, like the Invincible comp, I don't know if it can get better in terms of sustainability as it is right now. With those three in particular, you have just you have two different ways to invul. You have solid defense. You have healing. You have healing per turn. You have stars. You have stars per turn. You have stars per turn again. You have more gauge per turn. You have MP gain. It's just like I can't see someone not being able to clear most content with that team. Is it going to take a while? Yeah, but essentially you get free clears. Now, if you're finding anyone that like if you're finding Riders or Avengers, obviously you're going to fall short. If they manage to just start critting people down, but it shouldn't get to that point. Bond CE, MP damage 30%, and healing power by 100%. So, not only does this make it flat 50% at base, this 2k heal turns into a 4k heal. We go from Tamamo MP1 to like Tamamo MP5 from a Bond CE. If only. They already said that this character was not going to be, like, we're not going to have Grand Rulers or Grand Extra Class off rip. But yeah, this Bond CE, it doesn't do that much. But it's like the 30% MP damage ones are like Bond CE's designed for that character. And her hitting harder and healing harder on an already tanky servant, like, again, we're talking 4k HP on a Ruler. That is like 8k HP on any other normal class. Yeah, so if you like Jeanne, you probably already have this character. If you don't like her, you're probably not going for this character. I want to read the story chapters, and I might go for higher copies on NA based on like the actual story of OC4. But for right now, that's me. That's it for me. I laughed my ass off when I saw Gamer Jeanne, and it's really just Metatron taking over her body, or and using her body as a vessel, like other pseudo servants. Um, yeah, even listed as goddess servant. So it's definitely a lot similar to Parvati and Ishtar than it is Emiya. All right, peace chat. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.